Good evening from the studios in Walnut Hills, California. After a long vacation, we are back. We meant to do it like that, obviously. Sure. This is LuchaWorld Podcast.
It's summertime. Come on.
We're on vacation, yes. But we're always on vacation. We are domestic house cats.
Yes.
So this is Vandal Drummond with Fredo Esparza. I'd like to start off this episode with just a little salute to a dear friend of mine who I was shocked to find passed away in February of this year. Steve Gerber was a wrestling fan going way back to the 1970s. I met him at one of the many video gatherings that we used to have with people like Dave Meltzer and Pat Hoed. Mid 80s, pre-internet, we would get together with stacks and stacks of tapes and just eat and drink and watch wrestling all night long, mostly Japan wrestling. Steve was a huge lucha libre fan, and I used to make the trips to Tijuana. The usual crowd would be me, Pat Hoed, Fisico before he became Fisico Nuclear, Greg Regalado, Dan Farron, and had a lot of really memorable trips. He was an avid mask collector, and in addition to wrestling, I was an assistant teacher at a school he was counselor at. It was a school called Rossier School. That was a private school specializing in kindergarten through high school, kids from dysfunctional families. So I got to see the work that he was really passionate about, really trying to help kids in bad situations, lead a stable life, and had a great admiration for him because after working that job for 2 years, I realized I don't think this is something I could do for 10 straight years, because no matter how hard and how passionate you are, only so many of the kids are going to come out okay. And so I just had a great admiration for him, really dedicating himself to that job. But one of the amazing things is when you went to his house, it was the most pristine house you'd ever see, the cleanest house. But all over the place you'd have rock and roll memorabilia, and he would have all his lucha masks displayed on mannequin heads. Oh, wow. It was like a mini museum when you went there.
It was like Santo's house.
Exactly, yes.
Except he wasn't like El Hijo del Santo.
Exactly.
He wasn't as bad as El Hijo.
Exactly, yeah. He was a good man. The funniest thing is you wouldn't picture him as the eclectic taste in music he had, from Deep Purple to Motorhead, because he was a very conservative-looking guy when you saw him. But this guy knew music like the back of his hand, and even wrote for some music journals and blogs, and had the great fortune to interview every member of Deep Purple, with the exception of the late John Lord. And we last saw Steve. It wasn't
January, was it?
January. That was the first time you met him, wasn't it?
No, I met him at the Lucha show.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
show, yeah.
Yes. I forgot about that. Yeah.
It was brief though.
It was brief
because he went to 2 MPW shows, didn't he?
I believe he did.
Yeah, because he went to the one that Augie showed up.
Yes, that was the one where
the first one Augie went to.
Yeah, we all went to TGI Fridays afterwards, and I remember. I remember he said he was going to be making the shows regularly.
Yeah.
And before, I think, was it the April show? I can't quite remember, but I remember calling him the week before and leaving a message on his machine saying, "Hey, it's coming up, come to the show." And I was a little surprised when he wasn't there. And in the back of my mind, I thought, what's up? Because he was a very structured, very punctual person, and usually he'd leave a phone call if he couldn't make a date or something. And I found out 6 months later that he passed away. So, just wanted to give you a tribute to my dear friend, and I'm glad. We had been out of touch for almost 15 years when we met. We met by pure chance at a concert in 2011. So, I'm very thankful that we were able to reconnect before his passing, and just was hoping to get more, time to hang, but
I remember I was watching one of the videos that you recorded, and at the very end, actually, you weren't the one recording it. It had to be somebody else. Might have been Jeff.
Yeah.
But you guys switch around and at the very end of the show, you guys are like messing around. There's this little kid that's just bugging you guys.
In Tijuana. Yes.
And the kid just keeps bugging you, and like he keeps going after Steve, and Steve just walks away.
Yes,
He sits like as far away as possible from you guys.
Oh, that
Meanwhile, you and Wally Yamaguchi are just beating the crap out of the kid.
I know.
Like you see Dan moving away also. You just see all these other guys just moving
And I don't know if this got in camera, but I remember the security kept on saying, "You like that kid?" And I'm going, "Yeah, this kid is great. He's a firecracker, man. This kid's wild. We hate that kid."
Yeah, then he just leaves. Like, he's like, bye, and just leaves. It was one of the funnier ways.
Oh,
I left it on the video.
I always wonder whatever happened to that kid, because I remember he'd run into the ring when,
that kid grew up to be Sin Cara.
Ah, yes.
No, just kidding.
Sin Cara or...
Who's missing? Oh, that's another story.
Or Sin Career. Sin Career.
Sin Career.
Oh, this little 12-year-old kid would just run to the ring, get up on the top...
So he did that all the time?
All the time. And he'd get on the top turnbuckle and do a perfect moonsault landing on his feet.
Wow.
And I'd say, "Hey, Negro Casas Jr." And he just smiled like, "Yes, I'm Negro Casas."
He probably tried wrestling at some point.
I bet he did. I'd be curious to know.
Yeah. So I guess we should... The big news.
The big news. And there is a lot of news.
A lot of news, but this is the big news. Allie, the CMLL ring girl, has quit.
My God.
To join the circus.
The circus?
The circus.
Is the circus
And of course
paying...
you know which one I'm talking about, because it's the good-looking... the one that Kevin Kleinrock has dibs on.
Has a little crush on?
Has a huge crush on. She's doing... They try to talk her into staying.
My crush is still Amapola.
Yeah, Amapola. Hey, she's not leaving, so you know. At least not now.
I guess the circus pays more than CMLL, maybe.
Well, she says she still wants to go back, but that's her dream.
Right.
The circus.
Oh, that's cool.
I think she does gymnastics or something, so she wanted to do that.
Very cool.
Like, whatever.
I guess if you do gymnastics...
If that's better than being part of the Chicas Vuelta.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know?
Yeah, I could see it.
I don't see it. How can you not want to strip in front of however many CMLL fans are?
I want to strip in front of CMLL fans, but they just get offended. They get upset.
No, the big news is actually CMLL finally announced the big anniversary match.
And it looks like there might, for once in a long time, be a big anniversary show, like a really solid show.
Well, they earlier today they had the press conference, and it was hilarious because they just kept announcing all these, like, for whatever reason they don't just announce one big match and like maybe something small. It's always everybody shows up, let's announce everything. So they started it off. I guess we should start from the beginning. They announced that Marco Corleone is coming back on Friday.
Yes.
He's been out for like 3 months. Don't tell him it was from his auto accident, because he's going to get very offended. It was from some other operation that he had. No, he won't tell us what it is. I'm sure he'll tell somebody, but not right now. That was a big announcement first. Then I think they announced Tai Chi, the Japanese guy.
Yes.
He's from New Japan. Challenged Maximo to a hair match. That was the other one I didn't even tell you about. Then I think they've had one like in the past. So they're probably going to have another one at some point. Then there was another, I think Blue Panther came out. Actually, Averno came out. Averno came out and announced he wanted to challenge Blue Panther to a hair match. The same match he announced the previous press conference. Basically, everything happens in press conferences. Mm-hmm. Didn't happen in a match. I don't think they've even talked about it during.
You don't grab the microphone and throw the gauntlet down. And
it's not like they
press conference.
Yeah, so they announced he wanted. Once again, he announced that he wanted his match to be a hair match where the only way the winner would be via submission. The winner would be via submission.
That's going to be a sweet
twist. Which would be pretty awesome, because, I mean, Averno isn't really known for submission wrestling.
And Blue Panther
is basically like, he's the master of all that stuff.
A master technician. Yes. The only thing cooler would be Blue Panther versus, like, Negro Navarro or somebody.
And actually, since we haven't done a podcast in a long time, that's the other match you probably don't know about. August 16th, they're doing a Lucha de Maestros again.
Oh.
It's going to be, except I can't remember the CMLL side. I know it's Blue Panthers on that side, but Black Terry, Negro Navarro, and I think Solar are coming back. So that's going to be another match worth watching.
Oh, that's cool.
Actually, I was going to say, I hope that's the Fox show, but
Well,
I don't get that. We'll just have to wait for it on.
I get the Time Warner show, which you don't get.
Yeah, I get the LA TV one, which I think you get, but you don't know.
Because in the TV listings it says like paid commercial instead of wrestling.
So it's one of those.
So I never know when it airs.
Yeah, so that match was airing before the Fox show was airing on that channel.
Yes,
but now they're airing the Sunday show.
Well, we before the podcast we touched on this briefly. I find a lot of the stuff I used to find on TV on YouTube.
Yeah, it's easier
with not that much time delay either.
And that's whenever people ask me where do I watch it, it's like just watch it on YouTube. There really is no other. There's no other answer. I mean, you could tell them, you could watch it on TV, but you're probably not going to get half the stuff anyways. And you're just going to be looking for it. So
right.
It's easier on YouTube.
Yes.
So they announced that Blue Panther agreed.
Excuse me.
They brought contracts. They signed contracts.
Ah.
They didn't announce the date for the matches though, which was hilarious. They also announced Tanahashi was coming back.
Cool.
So he's coming back. I think
very
on the
cool.
21st. It's not that cool. He's not that great. He's great. He's great in Japan. I mean, he's been pretty crappy in. It's not that he's crappy in CMLL. He's just like, he's mailing in some of his performances. He's no Nakamura in.
And Nakamura. We'll touch on this in a bit, but yeah, continue.
I'll keep going with the press conference stuff.
Yes.
Because I have it right now. It's like, I still remember all this stuff. Yeah, so they announced Tanahashi was going to come in. So he's basically coming in to do the Universal Tournament, which starts on August 23rd.
Yes.
And ends September 6th. We initially thought it was going to end on the anniversary show, but I guess that's going to be their big match for the week leading up to that. So they're basically, I'm guessing what might end up happening is they might have Averno Blue Panther on one of those other shows too. I'm guessing because the following match, I'm assuming this because of the next match. The next match announced was Shocker. Shocker came out and won it, or Rush came out. One of the two, both of them came out. And threw out challenges for a hair match. So then Negro Casas came out and wanted to challenge Rush to a hair match also. So then they agreed to a three-way, only it's going to be the old style three-way, round robin.
Yes.
Where it's going to basically be, I think it's Negro Casas versus Rush, and then the winner would then face Shocker, or the other way.
Yeah, I'm excited about that because that was like a staple of CMLL Lucha in like the 80s that I missed.
Yeah, the round robin.
I loved those.
Yeah, and it's Rush. Rush and Negro Casas is a great feud. And Shocker,
yes.
If anybody can get anything out of Shocker, it's going to be those two guys.
A few weeks ago, I talked to my comrade and rival Frankie D, and he said in that excited Carbonario Galindo voice of his, like, Negro Casas and Rush are feuding. He had just seen it, and I was jazzed too. And I was watching them work together in two different matches, and it dawned on me, what a perfect feud, because they both have a very similar personality. A veteran brat against a rookie brat. Yeah. They're these two, like, smart-ass brats, and they're going after
different
each
era,
other.
Different ages.
Exactly.
Different ages now.
Yes.
Different stages of their life where now Negro Casas acts like that, and you're like, oh, he's cool, like when Rush does, it's like, oh, he's a dick. Exactly. I think it's awesome because I'm a wrestling fan, but like a casual fan or somebody that like takes it a little more in a different way is going to think he's like he's an asshole or whatever. Yeah, I hate it.
I picture all the fans totally cheering Casas like big time.
And I think that I'm guessing, and that's why I think the Averno Blue Panther will end up happening in September. I'm thinking. You never know with CMLL. They could actually switch all this stuff further. But Shocker, when he was asked on Twitter when his match was going to happen, he said it's going to happen at some point during the anniversary. They celebrate the month, basically.
Yes.
So I'm guessing maybe it could be a Tuesday, Sunday, or next Friday after that show, which would be great. Which makes it all that more difficult for somebody who's going to go like to the anniversary show, thinking, I want to go to the anniversary show, but I also want to go to that show. And I want to go to the other shows.
Oh, I'd love to see all those shows if I could.
If only we had money and we knew there was no crime.
Exactly, yes.
We were talking about this, how we both thought about going, and then, like, at the same time, you're just thinking all this stuff in your head. Like, I hate flying. I pretty much...
Really?
I hate flying.
I dig it.
I've always hated flying. I hate being on a plane. That's just...
Have you ever flown on JetBlue? JetBlue.
Kurt, I've flown on small planes.
Oh, I won't fly on a small plane.
I've flown.
No, big planes.
No,
big honking planes.
Big planes, small planes.
Okay,
I hate flying on planes.
JetBlue, they have TVs in front of you, and you can watch all the cable channels. And we had a transgender steward when we.
Oh, really?
Seriously, it was the coolest plane trip that Elena and I took. JetBlue is the greatest airline in the world.
That's the one that crashes like every year too.
Does it really?
Yes.
No, not JetBlue.
You should look it up.
Okay.
You should look it up.
Well, but you
know what? Don't look it up. Don't look it up.
But as you go down, you're watching a he-she, and you're seeing like old Sanford and Son reruns as the plane goes nosediving, and you go to heaven.
And that's not the thing that worries me, like going down or anything. That's not. It's just being on the plane. Like, it just makes me sick. I think I'm claustrophobic or something.
Oh.
It's just
Well, there's stuff.
I hate heights.
But we also can see we'll get a couple of somas.
Yeah, you just knock me out.
And you'll be rocking.
But then, see, that's the problem. See, that's phase 1. Phase 2 is actually like trying to get it in your head that you won't get killed in Mexico, or kidnapped. That's
it could either be our greatest adventure or our greatest demise.
Yes,
one or the other. It'd be.
And I don't think either one of us have relatives that can handle that. So it's one of those.
If I was rich enough, like if I was rich as Mark Wahlberg, I'd hire my own entourage and we could have bodyguards. Yeah. But we're not rich, so.
Yeah. So, but see. That's the thing. Like, we know a lot of people that are just going to the anniversary, that are thinking of going just to the anniversary show, or thought about going. Mm-hmm. But then now you hear all these other things. I'm pretty sure Steve would go to like the Rush versus Negro Casas main event.
I would actually like to see that even more than Ultimo Guerrero versus Atlantis.
Yeah.
And there's a whole twist on that one too.
Yeah, we're getting to that one. So then that ends, and out comes La Sombra and Volador Jr. issuing challenges to a mask match. And as they're doing that, Ultimo Guerrero comes out and issues a challenge. Doesn't issue a challenge to them, but he tells them he wants to wrestle that who's going to main event the anniversary show is going to be him versus Atlantis, unless they want to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. So then he suggests, so Atlantis comes out also, and then Ultimo Guerrero suggests they have a relevos suicidas match, which is basically just you team up with your rival versus the other rival team, and you have a match. The losing team, in the past, it was the losing team would face off in the final to drop their mask. Well, this time around, Ultimo Guerrero explains it that since he's so confident he can beat Atlantis, he not only wants to beat Atlantis, he could prove it by beating La Sombra and Volador Jr. to get to that point. So they have to win the match to get to the mask match.
Yes.
So that's the new step.
That's a new twist on that old...
Which doesn't really make sense.
No.
Because the whole point is, you lose, you're winning to survive, to keep your mask.
Yes.
So that's the whole point of the Suicidas match.
So like you'd almost purposely want to get pinned so you can buy out of it, unless there's supposed to be some great prestige of being the winner if they had some fictional prize for winning the whole thing.
So then one of the guys, Bill, who's on Twitter, he tweets me, he's like, hey, maybe this is so Volador Jr. doesn't pull anyone's mask off, because then he would win.
Oh.
And I thought, well, that's possible. But he could get DQ'd, he'd lose.
True.
Yeah, so it's just one of those, I think they kind of overthought this match.
Yeah, I
thought Atlantis vs. Ultimo Guerrero would have just sold out the building.
Just done it. Yeah, they should have just gone that route. Why play chess?
And I think now what it's going to do, it's pretty much, because if it was just Atlantis versus Ultimo Guerrero, you would have, nobody would be like, okay, I don't know who's going to win this. Either guy could lose. But now you throw in these two other guys and you're like, the more you think about it, Atlantis is going to be the one that loses.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what we're assuming.
Because he's the oldest one. He's the oldest one. So then I started thinking about all these odds. Basically, La Sombra I will bet my hair La Sombra will.
Uh-oh.
I will bet my hair La Sombra will not lose his mask September 13th.
I'm not betting my hair on anything.
Kurt, you're betting your hair.
No!
Oh, well, basically, I don't think Sombra's going to lose.
That'd be crazy
First
to
of all,
unmask him.
He's 23 years old. He's on the rise.
And he's the coolest thing going right now. Along with Rush.
He hasn't even hit his prime.
Yes.
He's got the cool mask, the cool look. That's what he got. Unless he looks like a cool dude, like without the mask. I could see it, but he's still young. He has time to do that.
In fact, the strongest disagreement I've had in something Dave Meltzer has wrote is that he lacks charisma.
Yeah.
His mask could be pure black and he's still charismatic.
See, and that's the other thing. Maybe if he drops the mask, he does have charisma. That's what,
I think he's cool.
A lot of people view charisma based on how you look. Which, I mean, a lot of times that's not even that. Because, I mean, it's just the way you act that you have this look. You have this way of yourself where it's like, okay, that guy's cool.
But just his body language is cool. I mean, I don't think he needs to show his face. Yeah. I think he is just plain cool.
Yeah, so I have him as the least likely guy to lose.
Yeah.
Then I kind of have Ultimo Guerrero. I just don't think he'll lose. Like, I think he'll lose. I just think there's more. Because, I mean, if you think about it, if Atlantis beats Ultimo Guerrero, Atlantis is going to want to... Their next big mask match would end up being Atlantis. Who on the heel side, with a mask, would you put Atlantis against? Who could beat Atlantis? Volador Jr.?
That's maybe. Maybe.
And is he going to... Volador Jr. versus Atlantis? That's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah.
They haven't really had a lot of back and forth over the years.
And Atlantis is in the twilight of his career.
It can't be Dragon Rojo Jr. either. So.
Better not be.
or somebody. But see, like, if you
one, I think it's kind of a conclusion that the match will be Atlantis versus Ultimo Guerrero, no matter what happens. I mean, I guess they could...
There is one option, though, because I was telling you what Bill was saying. So then I kind of started thinking about that. Well, Volador Jr. just got married.
Mm-hmm.
His dad is he's in need of surgery.
Yes.
For his something wrong with his leg.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think it might be like an ACL or something. I don't know. But because he was selling masks and everything, like a lot of his gear.
Wow, he's really trying to.
He was trying to just figure out a way to get money for his dad. Maybe it's him. That's why I kind of put him ahead of Ultimo Guerrero.
Interesting.
That's the only reason I put him ahead of Ultimo Guerrero.
The other thing that
and Atlantis would be my obvious choice.
Is even though I wouldn't give him credit for doing this too often, remember the big swerve, the surprise they gave a few years back
with
when
Blue
Panther and Viano 4, how nobody thought...
Everybody thought Viano 4 was going to be the one dropping it.
I thought so.
Well, see, this is what I also think. This is my fantasy booking, the mask.
Mm-hmm.
Atlantis drops his mask to Ultimo Guerrero in September. This coming show. Then Dos Leyendas, they bring back Viano 4 to wrestle Ultimo Guerrero in a mask match. Ultimo Guerrero takes Viano 4's mask.
Mm-hmm.
Then Ultimo Guerrero La Sombra next anniversary, 81st anniversary. Then the 82nd anniversary would be Volador Jr. versus La Sombra.
Sweet.
There,
We're there.
There.
We're there.
Send me my check. I just booked CMLL for 2 years.
I love it.
Throw in Rush versus somebody in there. So yeah, and then that's basically it from the press conference. I don't know what else you want to know about that stuff.
No, but
ticket prices were announced about a month ago, with the ringside being like $239.
Wow.
So everybody in Mexico's complaining about it.
You want to hear something funny?
It's not that bad here.
$239 is the exact price of the highest payment I got on eBay in 1998 for a Lucha Libre magazine that I paid.
Really?
That I paid 50 cents for.
Wow. What was it?
$239 for a... And the funny thing, it wasn't like a really old one. It was like a late 1980s one. All I can remember is Mil Mascaras... And I think one of his brothers was on the cover.
I guess you had a double of that, right?
The only magazine...
You have a lot of doubles in there.
Do I still have a lot of doubles?
A lot of doubles.
Wow. Well, seriously, what I did was when eBay was first around, and it was a cash cow at the time, and I had double and triple issues because I bought most of my Lucha mags in 1981 at a wrestling convention in Houston from a guy named Calvin Hambrick. But he had, stacks and stacks and stacks, so he would sell them, he'd give them to me for $5 for a buck. Instead of going through them, I just got mounds of them, and I was 110 pounds at the time. I looked like a junkie.
Yes.
I could barely move my suitcase, but when I finally went through them in 1998, I found... Oh my God! I have double and triple issues.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could get $10 or $12, And I tell you, no joke, the average one was selling for $75 to $80.
Wow.
Maybe only 4 or 5 sold for $10 or $12. And it was just maybe 3 or 4 people fighting over them, and all came through with a payment. I know that probably wouldn't work today, but
yeah, nowadays you probably, I don't think you,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be shocked.
yeah, well, eBay was really new then.
Yeah.
The economy was a lot better, and plus eBay, just the newness of eBay,
Yeah,
I think it
everybody
was
just
exciting.
and everybody wanted to win the auction.
Yes,
and stuff like that,
yes.
yeah. Let's see what else. Oh well, let's keep going with Sombra. Since
Yes.
that seems to be the focus of the whole podcast.
Yes, you recommended the Sombra versus Nakamura match. Oh my God, that's the best match I've seen in
From New
ages.
Japan.
Yes, from New Japan.
Yeah. Both of the matches were great. Now that you watch both of them, they were both great.
Yeah. I mean, he's never looked cool. I mean, he's cool, but he looked so cool in
How
this
awesome
match.
is Nakamura too?
Nakamura is great. I love that early in the match when he does the smart-ass moves on the ropes and then Sombra just wails on him. I mean, Sombra showed such attitude. It worked so well. I mean, and the fans popped for every standard move that he does in Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, for every move he did, they popped for big time. And
He did the thing where he jumped off that whatever the lighting. And
it looks, I don't know what you call those things.
I've seen those before with, I think Cassandra jumped off of one too, an Arrow Star.
And I gotta say, he looks cooler doing it than all the. I'm just a big mark for him right now.
He fits any promotion. I mean, I know when Dave was talking about how what he thought of him in WWE, I actually think he would fit better than Mystico did.
But they would still screw it up.
They would still screw it up. I'm not saying that he would.
Yeah,
like,
I see what you're saying.
I'm saying he would have had a better a chance just because he's a lot younger going there, and he wasn't as big a star.
And you could probably picture him
Mystico.
having a more diverse style
He's
than
worked
Mystico.
a lot. Like if you look at like the guys they've worked against, Mystico never worked with like the Japanese guys this guy worked with. Like this guy worked with Tanahashi.
Right.
Like, I think Mystico might have worked with him, but he worked with Nakamura. There was more interaction with those guys, whereas Mystico was more of the lighter weights. So it was like but I mean he just has like this. He just has this cool look to him, like a cool like. There's a cool factor to him.
There is.
Same thing with Máscara Dorada. There's another guy that actually has like.
I know it's funny how some of the coolest guys have gimmicks that looks like they were born in the 1950s or 60s.
Yeah.
Very simple. You know, Angel de Oro is another one I dig. He's not quite on their level.
Oh, he's not at their level.
But still, there it works.
Angel de Oro is actually good. Mm-hmm. But there's so many of those guys there in CMLL where he's been injured so often that he hasn't been able. He hasn't been able to move up or anything. There's no real progression, and there's always one guy who ends up just jumping over him as just being that much better. And then if it's not a good guy jumping over him, it's like they bring in Thunder or somebody.
Gotcha.
So like Jesus,
Poor guy.
Yeah. Well, you know.
And then you go to the other extreme, the psychedelic. Guerrero Maya Jr., who is one of the coolest things in
He's
Lucha
awesome.
today.
He's a great, and that's a guy that they haven't elevated, and he's really good.
They should. He's really good.
He's a really good guy, and that's another match you should probably watch from this past Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
There are actually 2 good matches. The Cancer Barrows. Mm-hmm. You know who that is, right? The Virus.
No, I do not.
You've never seen Cancer Barrows?
No.
Virus, Raziel, and Cancer Barrow.
Oh.
If you watch those 3 guys, it's like you're watching the Midnight Express type of quick tags.
Get out! No way.
Kind of like Blanchard and Anderson. Remember when the Horsemen would team up?
Yes.
Flair with the Horsemen with Tully and Arn.
Oh hell yeah!
They would just quick tag in and out.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they do, except they do a little more like they do the lucha stuff.
That's cool.
Versus they work Triton, Guerrero Maya Jr. and God, I can't remember who the other guy was.
I got more catching up to do.
There was another guy, but I can't remember. I'm sure he was. Oh, Ray Clementa. I think it was Ray Clementa. It might have been Ray Clementa.
I'm gonna lock myself.
I think it was him because he cut a promo.
I'm gonna lock myself in my computer room and just
there's so much
catch
stuff
up on Lucha.
There's so much stuff you can watch. There's a AAA match that I didn't even tell you to watch. With Steve Payne is in it. Remember? I don't think you ever saw Steve.
No, I haven't.
Local guy from LA. He went and worked in. He's working in AAA now.
Like regularly?
He's regularly right now in AAA.
Cool.
Yeah, he was the guy. I actually when I thought about running lucha shows again.
Yes.
He was on the list of the guys I was thinking of using. So I was like, oh, that guy would have been good. And then he ends up going over there, and I was like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
but he's really good. There's that match is a trios match. You could find it. It happened in the last 2 weeks. It's post Triple Mania, so it's not. There's not that much. There's not that much after that. But I mean, that's like one of those. Right now, there's a lot of good wrestling on YouTube. So
that's great. And I in CMLL, we used to say we enjoy CMLL despite the fact that it's CMLL. Like despite the bad booking. And I like you said, I think they're overthinking the anniversary show and whatnot, but I'm really, really, really enjoying CMLL these days.
Yeah, well, as long as you don't watch every single match.
Yeah, that might be stretching
You might get bored out of your mind with it. The other thing with Sombra was he actually suffered an ankle sprain.
Oh, yeah, you tell us about
this
that.
This past Sunday, he suffered an ankle sprain. And it went from him possibly missing 3 weeks to missing 2 weeks to missing 1 week to coming back on the Friday tomorrow. He'll be back on Friday night.
Wow.
I don't know if he's wrestling, but he said he'd be there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of thinking that they might actually not have him wrestle. Maybe just have him somebody attack him.
That would be wise.
Because I mean, I'm sure it didn't like his ankle. Like I was telling you, a lot of people were saying it looked severe, the ankle sprain. But I mean, if you watch a lot of basketball, you'll see so many guys with ankle sprains post stuff on their Twitter pages, on their Facebook pages, all these other like social media, and a severe ankle sprain is purple, totally purple.
Wow.
It looks bruised, red and purple. All these. It looks like it's like this.
Like one giant grape.
Yeah, it looks like you should just cut the foot off. That's what a severe ankle sprain. And Sombra's didn't look as bad as that.
Oh.
So I'm guessing it might have been just a severe sprain, but it wasn't severe missing 2 weeks.
Very good. I mean, they could work an angle off it. I mean,
they could have Volador Jr.
Because I bet you most people, don't observe what you have observed with the basketball players. I bet you could show like a swollen ankle and say,
well, that's what he posted on his page. I saw it and I was like, it doesn't look that bad. And other people were like, oh, it looks severe. And I was like, it doesn't look that bad. Because I remember, who was it? It was one of these old. There was a basketball player with the Lakers named Sasha Vujacic.
Yes,
he suffered an ankle sprain during the playoffs a couple of years ago, and he posted. They showed a picture of his sprain, and it was like, how is he even walking? With
frightening looking.
Yeah, so it wasn't that bad, but at least he's healthy, so he'll be ready for the anniversary show. The other thing you've been watching is Rush versus Negro Casas.
I am so high on that right now.
You asked me what to watch about Rush and Negro Casas, and I just said, watch whatever you want. It works no matter what.
And it's so true because, and we were joking about this before the podcast, I found a 6-man tag and I was trying to tell you who was involved, and all I could really remember was Rush and Negro Casas. I do know Brasso de Plata was in it.
Yeah.
The other thing that I remember is Casas' team won 2 straight falls. I mean, just totally trounced them. But he and Rush were just going at each other, and it was just pure fighting.
Was this the match where he throws him over the railing and just beats the shit out of him on the chair and stuff like that? Like he's just stomping on him.
Yeah, he's all over him. Yeah, he is all over him.
It's just amazing just to watch those guys work, because you're just watching like these other guys. And they're like, here you go. Like they could be teaming with New Perot and Thunder. And then the only bad thing is like the camera guys always have to get everything else. But you're like, stick with Rush and Negro Casas. You don't need the rest of the stuff.
That's meat.
All filler. That's all filler. That's the meat right there.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's just amazing how much.
Yeah, like we said, the 2 brats are wrestling. Just, I mean, yeah, this is going to be a great feud.
Yeah, and of course, since you watched that, you watched Infierno En El Ring.
Oh, now
El Ring, which
I guess we should go from great to terrible.
You actually paid more attention to the entire match, whereas I spent most of the time just complaining about how horrible Mr. Aguila was.
Yeah, in fact, that's the reason I watched it. Is you said you must watch this match to see how horrible Aguila is, and I'm saying, how bad could he be? And Fredo was telling me how bad he could be, and. We're talking about an indie wrestler we've seen who is god awful, and I said he can't be that bad, and Fredo said, actually, yeah, he's that bad, and so he was that bad. Those punches were in slow motion. Did he drink like 3 gallons of Robitussin?
Have you ever seen a wrestler who just mails in his biggest matches? Like
I don't even qualify that as mailing it in. When I see people mail it in, they're at least competent.
But this is like the second big match he's had where he's just totally just shown up looking horrible.
In fact, you were saying that when you can tell he's going to have a bad match because the way he enters the ring.
He normally, Mr. Aguila over the last year has started painting his face.
Yes.
Like he'll paint it like looking like a tiger.
It looks cool.
Like, yeah, it looks cool, or a clown, or different things where he does the Venom look like Volador Jr. And he'll have his hair sprayed like it'll be spiked to the it'll look badass.
Yeah.
Well, in this cage match, he shows up without face paint, and he shows up with his hair just completely like down, like just dangling down.
Almost like
maybe the reason he does that for the hair so the barber doesn't have to worry about cutting it. Like,
right.
Maybe that. But I mean, you still have to look kind of halfway.
You'd still have the face. You could still do the face paint.
Yeah, like something. You could do something.
Almost like he might have wore a sign saying, "I don't want to be here."
Yeah, I'm losing, or just wrote, "I'm losing." Go home. But it's like everybody. Like there were a lot of people who were saying that they felt they were defrauded, like they were ripped off.
I don't blame them, and I gotta say, aside from Aguila, I do not like cage matches in Mexico.
I hate them.
But I gotta say, this was actually a pretty good match. I mean,
like even WWE cage matches before the whole Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart and all these other guys started showing up. But remember, the old cage matches weren't very good.
You know what I hated about old cage matches? Well,
the WWE ones had the big holes and stuff.
Yeah, well, I should preface by saying, when I was a little kid, they had a cage match. It's called the Freddie Blassie cage, and it had no top to it. And it had no door.
Oh, there was no door.
No, and the way you won is you had to pin your opponent.
See, that makes sense.
And then you had to escape.
Oh, really?
And so when I saw my first WWF steel cage match, I'm all like, "Oh, this is going to be cool there." But then I see a door, and the rule is the way I took it is not the person who escapes, the person who can run away from his opponent the best.
Yeah.
The person who's such a pussy he can escape and run back to the dressing room is the winner. And it just seemed like the stupidest idea. And in LA, the loser would be laying there just like in a semi-comatose state while the guy triumphantly scales the cage. And then, two of them would climb the cage trying to get out and throw each other back in.
I I grew up with Mid-South and all those, so the cage matches were a little more violent.
This is true.
A little violence, I was okay with it. But I always prefer them pinning them or escaping.
Yeah.
But I think the only time I actually liked the door thing was when they the Freebirds turned on Ric Flair.
Oh, that was a classic moment in wrestling.
Or with Kerry Von Erich, where they slammed the door on Kerry Von Erich.
That was on the very first.
But then they did that in War Games afterwards with Rick. They did the Kurt Hennig turn where he slams the door on Ric Flair. That's what I like.
That was on the very first wrestling tape I got when I got a VCR.
Oh,
I got a bunch of Japan with Tiger Mask and Dynamite Kid, and that angle, and I was just in awe. I had not seen wrestling that good in a long time.
Yeah, because you grew up on WWE.
No, actually, I didn't.
On WWF. No, you didn't.
I grew up on LA wrestling. Yeah. I'm old. I'm very old. I'm ancient. I am El Viejo.
Yeah, but the whole thing, Mr. Aguila just looked horrible.
But the only thing that looked good was when they were shaving his head. He looked so sad,
I think he was just drunk. Though.
Yeah, but I never really.
You know when Shocker is outperforming you, you got problems. But if you think about it, what does a guy have to do to lose his job in CMLL?
I would have fired him on the spot.
Yeah, I would have been you're out of here.
Yeah, he should wear that makeup because I never looked closely at him, but boy, he has not aged well. When they're shaving his head, he did not
friend
look
him on
good.
Facebook. He's always posting.
No. But I gotta say, I did enjoy the match. I loved when Rush made the escape and did that great pose on top of the
being a dick.
yeah, look at me, I'm getting away. And then I love how Brazo de Plata and was it Rey Escorpion are trying to escape. Maximo jumps up and gives a big kiss to Rey Scorpio, and he falls back into the ring.
Starts helping us.
And he helps Brazos de Plata climb the cage and get him out safely.
There's still something charming about Brazos de Plata.
Totally.
Where it's like, you can't really hate that he's still wrestling. The only time I really can't stand is when he's like, he's the one that ruins the match. But he's perfectly fine in there if it's Rey Scorpion or guys like that. If there's that one guy who's going to work with him.
Yes.
But like if it's him and there's like high flyers on the other side, you're like, whoa, this is going to be good with Mascara Dorada and Sombra, and it's him. It's like, oh, come on.
And it doesn't, yeah, exactly. I'm with you. And it doesn't bother me when somebody who worked their butt off for so many years, they're older. I don't care if they're just standing in the corner. If they've worked so hard in their careers, and they're
Kemonito. Super Porky's gonna get the Kemonito spot.
Seriously,
where he just sneaks himself, fits himself underneath the ring, the bottom rope, and just lays there the whole time.
I mean, let's talk for a second. Parata Morgan is. I mean, he could still do it when he wants, but I would have no qualm if
he had a pretty good year last year. So
yes, but if he just stood there in the corner and occasionally tagged in, I'd have no problem with that. I mean, all the work that guy did over the years, I have no problem if they,
It's the crappy ones you don't like.
Yes, the crappy ones who never were good, high on ego, low on talent.
The ones that didn't give you their honor.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten over that.
You're still upset at Mil Mascaras.
They made me look like a fool.
Mil Mascaras refusing to take a picture with him.
And Psicodelico, too.
Oh, yeah, they also... this is already late news, so I'll skip it. Puro Tito. They stripped Puro Tito of his Mexican national lightweight title that he's held for 5 years to create another tournament. They're running a tournament.
So they stripped it for the sake of having a tournament?
Yeah, I don't know if maybe he's gone because he hasn't been there.
Maybe they should have just had him drop it.
Some guys leave, that makes sense, but it's not
like you said, they overthink it.
Yeah, they must think that they're not going to drop it, or
they must.
I mean, come on, Hector Garza was still offering to drop his. He was already gone.
They must sit there saying, "We know how much fans love tournaments."
Yeah. What else? Oh, we should talk about Hijo Santo winning his lawsuit.
Big money for him.
He won his lawsuit over his nephew.
Yes.
Axel. He got 300,000 pesos.
And that's in...
For the right...
American dollars would
pesos. American dollars, 25,000.
Okay.
Axel... I actually did... I don't want people to think that I got that just from listening to Steve Sims. Mm-hmm. I actually checked on Google.
Really?
Currency converter I used.
Awesome.
To make sure that was it's actually closer to 23,000. Just so people know.
Wow, still. Now, next question, does Axel have $23,000?
I don't know. That's the funnier one. So, I was thinking, man, we should do like what are those websites that have like charity type of
Yes.
A
site for Axel.
Yeah, benefit to help Axel pay his 23,000.
I'm in.
Yeah, and I just thought, man, he's your
nephew, goddammit.
I mean, there's no other way besides suing him where you can't just... He's just saying he's the grandson of Santo. I mean, what's the worst... That was the whole point. Nieto de Santo. He was Axel, the grandson of Santo. He was still using
That's amazing. That's amazing.
He's such a, Hijo Santo, I mean, was he... I'd like to know if he was always like this.
Well, I do remember...
Because, I mean, the last couple of years...
I remember hearing about that one wrestling show in Georgia where it was when Rey Mysterio Sr. was still wrestling, and Santo was cocky about... I can't remember I think Santo was being stiff with him or something like that. And
oh, really?
He told him stop being stiff, and he wouldn't, so in the dressing room, just beat Santo into oblivion.
Oh, really?
I mean, I've heard stories. I don't know how much of it is hearsay, but
he's probably a nice guy.
Yeah.
He blocked me.
Well, I've never met him.
He blocked me on Twitter. What do I?
He blocked you on Twitter. Then hell with him.
No.
Hell with him. Take his mask off.
Yeah, that was the other news of. That was really the other big news. Horace left CMLL.
You were telling me.
That would have been the big news if we would have done this podcast last Saturday night.
But it's later in the week.
It's a good thing we waited till Thursday. Yeah, that was the big news. He basically left because he felt he wasn't going to move up. like I was saying, it's Horace. He wasn't that good. He wasn't going to move up that much higher.
Right.
It was he's at a point like he's actually really good. He's a good opening match guy.
Yes.
But he's not going to be a main event guy.
Perhaps he saw the writing on the wall, and you were saying he's going to be doing independence.
He's doing independence, and he showed up on. He quit on Friday, I think, and then on Saturday he showed up at the Todo por el Todo show, which is Hijo Santos group, who loves to push new young talent better than anybody, which he never does. He's basically all the women. You know what the women's division is? Esther Moreno, Rosie Moreno, I think La Diabolica or one of those other older women, and Lady Apache. Lady Apache's the young one. Which Lady Apache's great. Lady Apache's
yeah, she still is great.
She's like the young one.
But that's the whole women's division?
She's great, though, I mean.
She
looks... I was looking at the Tercera Caída, that show in Mexico.
Yes.
Interviewed her, and all that I saw was a picture of, like, the little YouTube, like, the video caption, the picture caption, and it's just her talking to Jose Manuel. And I'm like, man, she still looks good.
She is gorgeous.
Yeah.
No, she's.
And she just had a baby.
And how many kids has she had over the years? I mean, she probably has grandkids by now.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I mean, she's the hottest looking grandma in the world.
I'm guessing she probably has grandkids. I'm guessing I think she is on Facebook, but I mean, somebody has to be friends with her and like just tell us if like her oldest kid has like kids already, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
Because that's something I'm really curious about. Because they start young. They're like, what was she married with? Brasso de Oro, like back in like 92 or something?
Yeah, and she's...
Apache? Or was that like...
Grand Apache, I think, was first. And then it was Brasso. And
how did Grand Apache get to Lady Apache?
And Brasso. And now it was... and now she's...
Electroshock, but at least Electroshock is tall, you know?
Yeah, true.
That's like the cool
Maybe
guy.
She finally thought, okay, I'm going to get a young hot guy this time.
I don't know about hot, but I mean, still at least...
Well, I haven't seen him without his mask on, so, you know.
Compared to Brasso de Oro and Grand Apache, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, she says, I've had enough of granddaddies. I want some young thing.
Yeah, so he worked, and then the Sunday he worked IWRG. So he's going, and it was funny because his whole excuse was that you only move up in CMLL if you're connected to somebody, be it family, kind of hinting to family. And I made a joke afterwards. I go, how come Puma isn't main eventing?
Good point.
In CMLL, he's like the only guy who's not main eventing, and he has two things going in his favor, or maybe not in his favor. He's a Casas and he's dating a Estrellita.
Oh yes, and.
You would think he would be moving up because he's dating, and he's a fantastic worker.
Yeah, I was going to say
he's a great promo. He's a great promo too.
And it looked like he was on the verge of getting pushed.
Because he wants one. He was in one of those tournaments too. So. But he's one of those guys that he should be a main event guy. He should. There's no doubt.
I agree.
There's no doubt. Like family or no family, he's a main event guy. Like,
I agree. He is awesome.
He's at a point where he's too good to be like in the second match. Versus whatever trio like.
Sometimes I wonder if they try to almost purposely keep a family member
down.
Down just
kind of like Felino.
Yeah, just as an example, so how do you say nepotism doesn't get out of control? I remember hearing years ago in Calgary that when Stu Hart was calling the shots at the shows. He'd make sure at least one of his sons jobbed each night so that it wouldn't look like, the Hart boys are indestructible.
Well, see, the thing is, the problem though is like if you go down the roster, there's a lot of guys who are second generation. Even the opening match, you have some guys like you have Mocho Cota's son working openers. You have Herodes' son is working openers, who's fantastic. You'll love that guy if you ever get to see him. I'm sure you. I can't remember what show it was. I don't know if Cub Sam recorded it, but there's a show where you just have to watch his entrance because he does this hilarious thing. But his dad did the same thing. I didn't realize his dad was like the same. He wore like kind of like those old Roman-looking outfits.
Yes,
gladiator outfits.
Oh, I dug Herodes. Yeah, I have seen him. I've seen the father years ago.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the junior.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen him recently. Or have you seen him at all?
No, I've just seen the father.
Yeah,
I have not seen Junior.
But then you go down the card, and they're still, like I'm saying, second generation.
Well, when you think about it...
At the top, the problem with Puma is that they elevated the new Perot. And new Perot is related to Rush and Mystico, and the new Mystico. So it's like, you have one relative of a wrestler working that should be higher, but then you give this guy...
You're pushing the wrong family member.
You're pushing the wrong family member. Like...
And when you think about it, in Mexico, there are so many second, third, and fourth generation wrestlers. Like you couldn't push everybody.
Everybody. I think almost everybody in CMLL is connected to somebody it is a second generation or related to a wrestler. So it's like it's not just
it's
one.
It's one
guy.
of the cool things about lucha, how
because it's even like that here in LA. Like when you go to lucha shows, you have a lot of guys who are like you're probably the only one that doesn't have like a hijo de Vandal Drummond. You're like the only one, or like you don't have like a mini pequeño Vandal.
Yeah, I had my nuts lanced several years ago, so there will be no mini Vandal Drummonds.
But like I was saying, like Herodes Jr. He did this thing where he comes in with his the Roman or that what's that thing that they put on
the toga?
The toga, yeah. Because that was a toga, and he walks like he's a gladiator.
That's great.
So hilarious.
Oh, I must see it.
It's so hilarious. Oh, the other news from Infierno En El Ring. Super Luchas reported that Sin Cara showed up at the show.
Really?
The real Sin Cara, the WWE one, not one of the fake ones.
Yes.
Because there's fake Sin Caras. You know there's fake Sin Caras.
I've heard that, yes.
Yeah, he showed up, and he was invited backstage to say hi to his friends.
Wow.
So there's...
Wonder what that says.
They've I guess the ban is dead on him. Like, it's done.
Oh, wow.
He's I'm guessing they might, like, if he ever leaves WWE, there's a spot for him.
I hope so, because I have heard he's kind of an arrogant guy and stuff, but I mean, he was such a draw in CMLL. He was the last big draw in CMLL, and I know he got injured a lot, but I still think he got a raw deal in WWE. They don't know their head from their ass when it comes to pushing a luchador.
And that's what we're saying about with like La Sombra. It doesn't matter who they get; they're gonna fuck it up.
Exactly.
Unless it's an English-speaking wrestler.
Yeah,
the only one luchador.
And they even fucked it up with Alberto Del Rio by just when they turned him babyface and saying he's Latin. Yeah. It's just
they turned him to Ricky Ricardo.
Yeah, exactly.
They kind of screw up a lot of this stuff. But I was thinking, like, if Sin Cara ever did leave, I wouldn't mind a Mystico, like him turning heel and joining Averno.
That would be way cool.
To feud with the new Mystico with Mascara Dorada and all those guys. Because that would be pretty bad.
Because I remember even getting excited about the concept. Remember when the rumor went around that they were going to bring Averno into WWE to feud with him?
Yeah.
I was already salivating at the thought of those matches, and to have them be arm in arm in CMLL.
That ended rather quickly.
Yeah, weird.
WWE just comes up with like the weirdest stuff. Like the one thing I will say about WWE now is that it's actually entertaining, like their show.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They're pushing so many new guys.
See, I think they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
They're good at being WWE, but when they say, "Oh, we're going to push a big Latin superstar," they just don't know what they're doing.
I kind of think the only group that actually knows how to do things well is New Japan, for whatever reason. Because I mean, you look at like if you had the same like the mentality that New Japan has with the way they create stars with CMLL, I mean, there would be no doubt they wouldn't have like New Perot and Thunder on their roster.
Yes,
there would be if they were in the roster, they would be they would probably be like in the very bottom part.
Well, like John Strongman, they know what to do with him.
They would do something completely different with him. And these guys Thunder and New Perot are no Strongman.
Oh God,
Strongman is actually pretty good compared to them.
Now, I have not seen Thunder. I know on one of the previous LuchaWorld podcasts, we talked about that disastrous debut.
Yeah, he's a little better now, but it
still sucks.
Well, I mean, he just knows his spot, but there's some stuff he still he can't lift the guy up properly and stuff like that. For a big guy, he just doesn't. And they haven't working like a little guy. They haven't working as a high flying big guy.
How strange!
It makes no sense. He should be like the big guy who's like
people bounce off him.
He's basically a cheaper Marco Corleone, because Marco Corleone does that and does that well.
Yeah, he should be like an attraction where the wrestlers bounce off him and he squashes them.
Yes, because Marco Corleone, when he showed up, he actually figured out how to. When he turned babyface, he was going to be a guy who could do he had his spot.
Yes,
and he figured out, and he still works like a big guy though. Because even Conan critiqued them. He's like, you do some of the stuff that
Mm-hmm.
a smaller wrestler, and it doesn't work. So you gotta do big guys.
Oh, I agree, and I've seen big guys over the years do that where, God, I can't remember what the name was, but there's a local guy who was big and was doing this kind of monster gimmick, and he's wrestling a guy much smaller than himself, and he's doing these fancy moves off the rope, and I'm saying, no, you're big, you should just be running over him, you should be destroying him, not leaping around him.
I think because they think, like, you see, like, Undertaker and guys like that do, like, a dive. Mm-hmm. They gotta... But the Undertaker doesn't work like a small guy. Undertaker knows that he has to beat the... He doesn't do any of that, like, high flying...
You see those dives at WrestleMania.
Yes, WrestleMania. He saves it for WrestleMania. That's when you do it. He doesn't do, like... He's not doing planchas all the time and trying to do, like, the tope con hilo and all this stuff. Or, like... And, I mean, there's a big difference between Undertaker... I mean, Undertaker, when he became Undertaker, already had, like, what? I think he had, like, 6-7 years of experience. Legit experience. Not like Thunder's fake...
Exactly.
Worked 5 years.
Exactly.
Experience.
And he's somebody
Undertaker actually traveled and worked... Because I remember seeing him in Texas, like, before we moved
You saw him when he was Mark Calloway, huh?
Yeah, I saw him when he was the Punisher.
Wow.
He was the Punisher in World Class and USWA.
And after that 6-7 years of experience, he didn't rest on his laurels. He strived.
I think I even saw him. I think he was Master of Pain too, for some reason. I can't remember.
Wow.
But he was a bunch of different things. Let's see. Oh, we should talk about Ricky Marvin almost retiring.
Seriously?
He tweeted he was going to retire. But one thing there's two things Ricky Marvin will sometimes tweet. I think he tweets when he's drunk, and he tweets when he's depressed. I think because he misses being in Mexico, because he's in Japan a lot.
Could be.
He might be tired and stuff. So he tweets that, and it's pretty hilarious. It's like, we'll believe, because he said he was going to retire after this tour he is in Japan right now. But I don't think he is.
Poor Ricky's got the blues, probably.
It'd be sad if he left, because he's a really good worker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he gets, and he actually said he would get a better paying job or something. I was like, oh great. The life of a pro wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Glorious life.
So enjoyable.
Well, a lot of news.
I think we have a lot just based on the fact that we didn't really... Like, I had all this other stuff we were going to talk about, but the press conference kind of took over.
I was going to say, I think we'd be here all night if we covered all the news. Well, I think that just means we have to...
I'll do the historical podcast on my own at one point.
Okay, there you go. And we'll...
You know what we should do? We should do what Carl Stern did. 31 podcasts in 31 days.
A marathon.
Yes.
We might do something like that.
I don't think I've listened to a single one of his podcasts, but...
Neither have I, and I don't know why, because some of them sounded like they were pretty
Some of them
cool.
sound awesome, but...
Yeah.
I think right now I'm just listening to Conan's podcast, because he usually talks about stuff that has lucha.
His is a fascinating podcast.
I don't agree with his take on Rush. I'm very upset. I'm very upset at Conan for saying what he said about
What did he say about Rush? I missed
Rush
this.
looks like a... I can't mention.
Oh, yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah, that's not cool. He said he was good, though.
He's great. And if he didn't look like that...
Who doesn't? I mean, if you're...
yeah.
Let me just tell you. What wrestler who puts on a bunch of oil, shows up in his
shaves his body,
isn't going to look like that to a guy who's...
Yeah.
Going to be like one of these guys who thinks all this stuff. So it's like...
So we'll say in a much more polite way, he said Rush looked flaming.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's Rush.
I'm not trying to be correct, but I don't like that word either. I don't think that's a cool word. And saying it like it's a bad thing. I mean, what's wrong with that? Hey, Pimpinela, he rocks.
You know who I've been watching? I've been watching a lot of the IWRG from last year.
Yes.
And there's this guy, I don't think you see him, Chicano. He retired this year, which is a shame.
Really? Yeah, I've seen some IWRG, but I don't think I've seen him.
Chicano used to work as Bugambilia.
Yeah, I definitely haven't seen him.
He was an Exotico. Mm-hmm. But there was another Exotico. Like all things in lucha, there's always somebody else with your name somewhere else in Mexico. So all of a sudden that guy gets a little fame, you have to change your name. Although the other Bugambilia is pretty good too. This guy changed his name to Chicano. And I had seen some of his work as Chicano, just the matches. And I started watching his promos. And you know what it basically is? Him doing Eddie Guerrero.
No way.
So it's like he does this. They bring out, because they do all those faction group matches. Cibernéticos.
Yes.
It was the first generation IWRG versus second generation IWRG, and he comes out and it's Chicano, and the one guy next to him is, I think it's Carta Brava. He's like, yeah, we're gonna beat these guys. We're all excited. We're gonna prove it to these guys that we're gonna beat them. And he gives the mic to Chicano. He's like, He's like, Orale, Orale, vato, ese.
Doing an homage to one of the great ones.
He's like, aquí está el campeón, hey, vato. And I just started laughing because I just love hearing like guys talk like, because that's how you talk when you're with like when you're talking Spanish. That's how a lot of the guys here talk. Like if you go to a lucha show, I'm probably like the only person who speaks Spanish that doesn't talk that. Although I could get away with it. Like,
true.
Like, yeah, because like and Superboy doesn't talk like that either when we speak.
That's
Spanish.
true.
But it's a great gimmick. It's too bad he retired.
Oh, that is too bad. Yeah. Oh, I'm late to the party again.
He's somebody that probably should have been in AAA or CMLL.
Wow.
Maybe he'll come back. You never know.
You never know. And you know how retirement's going in wrestling. People get hungry.
How many times have you retired?
I've never retired, and I'm never going to announce a retirement.
Look at Ray Mendoza Jr. How many times has he retired?
Oh yeah. That's why. Even though I'm, even though I wrestle only once a month, I'm probably going to wind it up this year. But I'm not going to say that definitely because I know everybody gets hungry to play.
You're going to want to try 60-year-olds.
You want to get into the playground again and again and again. So I will never say retire.
You might be wrestling twice this week, and this month.
That's true. That's something we should mention before we go. August 25th, the second annual Leyendas show in Los Angeles, California at Las Chavas Cafe.
Yeah, is it the same place you went to last?
Yes.
So basically, if you're going to go to the show, on one side you'll see like the gay parade type of
yes
thing. And then the other side you'll see a bunch of old Mexicans
with pot bellies. Yes.
And that's the lucha show. The other one where the guys who are well built and
flawless looking young men, shirtless.
That's not the lucha show.
That's when I realized. That's when I knew.
It could be a Dragon Gate show, though.
I was going to say, that's when I knew, there's not an ounce of gay in me, because if there was, I would have been across the street. These were like several dozen flawless-looking, chiseled young men with their arms around each other, and I said, if there was even a little gay in me, I would have blown off the wrestling show in a heartbeat. Yeah. But this August 25th, and last year was so much fun. Yeah. Even if you don't know the history of Los Angeles Lucha Libre, you should come out and see it. It's like a big party. Yeah, even if you can't fit in the building, there's something going on outside, or you could talk with the luchadors. There were barbecues going on outside. Yeah, it's you see old comrades seeing each other for the first time in years, and a lot of the younger wrestlers, like last year, both Mercurio Jr., Superboy Jr. Last year I was
Jalisco Sun was there.
Jalisco Sun, yes. It's so we'll give you even further info, because with all the news going, as you suggested, this podcast should be done more frequently.
And I might actually be doing it, so
that's cool. But
Kurt might join in, but not as often.
Yes.
Kurt's got other better things to do, like work.
Yeah, damn it.
That's the thing. Like, I was like, when people tell me to do podcasts, like, it's kind of hard because you got to figure out your schedule to that person's schedule. Yeah, it's so impossible.
Well, no, if you ever do one on your own, go for it. But I'll try to make it more frequently, because lucha is hot right now. Yeah. Lucha is just really...
There's always news. I think in the last couple of months, there's been so much more news.
Yeah, 2013 is like a...
And there's a lot of wrestling to watch.
It's like a renaissance.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff out there right now.
We still have to talk about AAA. There's a lot of AAA to talk
There is, yes. Shall we save it for next one?
Have you watched Triple Mania yet?
Nope.
You don't plan on watching it?
You know how much wrestling I watch these days.
You have zero interest in watching Triple Mania.
Okay, if I was going to watch one thing on Triple Mania, what should I check out?
Probably Messias versus Blue Demon.
Okay.
I think that's on there.
Actually, that'd be my choice. I remember, because I mentioned this on a previous podcast. I think that's on there. When I saw Blue Demon...
It's been such a long time, I don't even remember.
I know. Well, remember how the last time we did like 3 podcasts in a week?
Yes, and that's why I thought, you know what, Kurt's tired of doing podcasts, that's why we're not doing it.
I'm not tired of it. I just have to work into my schedule.
There was so much news that week.
Everything was happening.
And then we were going to do one before Triple Mania or after Triple Mania. Mm-hmm. Whenever that show that you went to, I think it was around that time.
Yes.
And then, like, when we didn't do it, I thought, well, maybe I won't watch Triple Mania until we plan the podcast. Then you didn't do the podcast, And I didn't watch Triple Mania, and I kept stringing it, waiting, and I just watched like when I talked to Steve, I was like, I'll just watch a couple of matches.
Right.
It wasn't that big.
But here's another idea. We should do one live from Bell Gardens one week. We should
Bell Gardens. Wow.
You know the Santino Brothers shows. Go see Chaos
really?
and all those guys. We'll just
seriously, yeah. It's on a Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. So on a Thursday when
or on a Friday, I mean.
Yeah, because on the Thursday night when I have the Friday.
It has to be Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. Unless we ask them to rearrange their shows.
We'll have to tell them to switch it to Friday.
That'd be kind of a fun place to do a live remote broadcast.
Oh, really?
That'd be fun, yeah.
Have Chaos tell us what we don't know about wrestling.
Exactly. Speaking of which, is his voodoo gimmick the coolest
Have you seen
thing?
the shirt? The shirt's
Yes!
really cool. I saw the shirt.
I just saw that.
I didn't see it at the show, which I'm kind of I think I saw it, but she had already packed it. Jezebel.
Oh my god, I want one of those.
And then I saw it after, I was like, oh shit.
And I am high on Voodoo Chaos's. He is so cool.
Yeah.
He is so cool. I think he could go places with that, and I do want to get the shirt. And by the way, I forgot to mention this to you. Another reason to go see the Bell Gardens show is just a small room that seats at most like 40 people.
Yeah, you told me that.
But it's lined with all this memorabilia, including a wall full of shirts put on display.
Oh, really?
And amongst those shirts is the LuchaWorld shirt.
Wow.
I was really tickled when I saw that.
Wow.
So,
Did you tell Chaos?
No, I didn't say anything. I just sat there.
You were just shocked. You're like,
I was just, wow. That's awesome.
You should give him the I Hate Your Father t-shirt.
I will do that. Definitely.
You might still have one in your possession.
I do. If not, we could get more, can't we?
I'll give you
Cool.
I'll give you one.
Okay, so, you'll be hearing either Fredo more frequently or
us.
Or me and Fredo more frequently, because Lucha rocks. And
here comes the ending.
Here comes the ending. And I can't think of a song to sing, so...
Why don't you sing the Nelly song?
The Nelly
La
song?
Sombra's entrance song.
I don't know that song. The song I went to the ring to...
I wanted you to sing the
hippie soy. Hippie soy.
I couldn't figure it out. When you played it, it took me a while to figure it out. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, I'd have to listen to it again.
I don't think I saw the hippie in
Yeah, or I'll sing the Mercenario Joe.
You gotta
No te quiere ni tu padre ni tu madre.
You should do the gimmicks like dress as an executive.
That'd be great. And then dress as the Bethlehem boy, David El Pastor.
Or we're saving this for Holt Street Wrestling.
Holt Street Wrestling coming soon. Coming soon. Whether you like it or not. Oh my God. There's a lot to look forward to.
We fantasy booked our own promotion.
We have, and who knows?
Probably the worst promotion, the most disgusting promotion of all time.
And I
think we would be.
I think we're just the people to do it.
Yes, Johnny Legend would be.
I was about to say he would be on a bullet train down here on a red liner, just saying let's go.
Ideas, how horrible our ideas were. That
he'd say he was never prouder of us, is what he would say.
He would enjoy it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we will.
Conan would enjoy it too.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I can't think of what other songs are there out there. I don't know. Wooly Bully. You know, I already did that one, didn't I? I sung Wooly Bully a bunch of times. You just ended with
Slam and Stands finale.
I'm 5 years ahead of my time.
No, how we used to end.
Look into my mind.
How we always ended the Slam and Stand show.
May the right hemisphere of the brain short circuit the left hemisphere short circuit the right hemisphere, and bing! You're there. See you next time, folks.